Yeah. Nothing sexier than an old chick band that could really play. Love War Paint. War Paint from Los Angeles, California. 2011. The history of this band, the chick singing, right? It was the girlfriend of John Frusciante of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that was John Frusciante's chick and babe or whatever. And the drummer was actually the original drummer in this band was the now guitar player for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I forget his name because he's not very good. He's a better drummer than he is a guitar player. Listen to some more War Paint in a second. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the end game. Welcome to the end game. I've been calling this shit for a long time, man. You guys have been saying, oh, fucking Conte's a socialist. He don't know what he's talking about. He hates America. He thinks everything is going to shit. Well, here we are, right? Here we are. We have a full-blown market crash. That's inescapable. We have elections that don't count, proven in a court of law. Today we're going to look at, today Illinois, Florida, Arizona are going to vote, and Ohio backed out, you heard? So if you're in Ohio and you were ready to vote, sorry, you're out, can't vote. So Democrats are now canceling elections, but they'll keep the subway open in New York City so people can get to their slave job. Right? But no, can't vote. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous. So we'll look at that. You have a very interesting type of rigging that I wasn't really expecting. In Illinois, they actually flashed the results of the election, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you my theory on why they did it. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's rigged, and that's going to be the final result." That's not the reason they do it. I'll tell you more when we get there. I don't want to give it away. So what's up? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ZOX. I'm sorry to pull you out of bed again. Vinny DiMartini in the house. Wrench. Vinny DiMartini, don't be a dick in the comments and you won't get chopped out. Don't come crying to me if you do. Navarro, right, that's his name. Thank you, Vinny. Nick Navarro. He's not even a fraction of the guitar player that John Frusciante is. John Frusciante wrote, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. He wrote the number one, he wrote the music, him and Flea wrote the music to Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic, which is arguably one of the top, in my view, top 10 albums of all time. And that's, listen to the music behind a song like Under the Bridge, for example. The guitar line is just phenomenal and so deep. And, I think the Chili Peppers lost it when Frusciante, who is unpredictable, he's a genius, he's a musical genius. When he left, I don't think they could hold it up anymore, But anyway, so that's in music. Let's look at, what's up, Jim Gerard in the comments. That what? Don't be a dick. Wash your hands. All right, I do, and I will. So let's look at, I just want to look at some of the headlines. Start with the headlines. We're going to look at the market crash that's very similar to 1929 crash where 80% of assets were lost. I think right now we're now approaching the 1987 depreciation in stock. I think we're down 35% already. Good morning, Sterling Price in the house. Sterling Price in the house. Sterling Price has seniority around here, by the way. He's been with me. He's been following me around since the very beginning. Since I really appreciate Sterling Price. Whenever I see him, it reinforces my faith in humanity. Where I don't know. It's just a good feeling whenever I see Sterling Price in the house. So thanks for being here, Sterling. Thank you for your continued support. So let's look at the headlines. It's always good way to try to get a feeler. Look at the fake news. Here's New York Times reporting 44 degrees in New York City. Trump to propose $850 billion economic stimulus. Oh boy, another TARP. Remember in 2008 when they said 700 billion? Obama couldn't even pronounce. He couldn't even speak sentences that long. That he couldn't even speak, numbers. He couldn't sew numbers that big together. 700 billion now. It's like 800 billion. They did a trillion and a half last week. Stimulate what? Everybody's going to get a handout. Here come the bailouts. The market crashes. The bank's fucked up. And here come the bailouts on your back. There goes your 401k plan. Kiss it goodbye. I mean, this is the state of the, this is the state of the market. The big move of a pandemic, coronavirus, covering up the fact that they fucked up. Again, things like that, So let's just look. So Trump, I didn't read this article. Trump, big package. Tax cuts for airlines. Oh, great. Why not let them fall? Why not let the industries that are overinflated fall already? Don't bail them out. Let the banks crumble, and then we can get rid of the central banking system and go back to gold standard, go back to Indian trading where people actually, manufacture things again. Manufacturing has to come back to the U.S. if the global economy flops. If the global central banks fail, then that's a good thing, right? So let their market crash. Don't bail them out. This is a rerun of 2008. All right, Trump is now proposing billions, 800 billion in economic stimulus. He's going to bail out the banks again, give them all the money they need, right? And then ultimately the taxpayer is going to pay more. You're going to pay more for everything in the long run. People get fucked, and the banks who have been ripping us off for so long, the oligarchs for so long, are going to get their bailout when it fails. I thought the economy last week has never been so good. Now it catches a cold, a little flu, and all of a sudden we're going to shit. We need $800 billion, $850 billion. Doesn't make sense. I mean, to the Trump people, to the people that support Trump and are lobbying for Trump because they think he's the cure-all. He's better than the others. That he's going to fix all the problems. He's going to drain the swamp and build the wall and lock her up. Do you get it now that you've been bamboozled? What does it take? What does it take? So, I mean, here's the evidence in front of you, right? Free, fair elections. Forget about those. So let's look at the market. Oh, boy, we're up 100 points. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So, again, I've been calling this for a long time, the end game, where the empire crumbles. And now we're now approaching where Trump entered the picture, and we've already declined 30% in the market, a little more, maybe 32, 33%. I think in 2008 the retraction was from, I don't have the numbers in my head, from 14,000 on the Dow, and it retracted down to 6,000. So it got cut in half in 2008, and that was the inevitable meltdown where they started talking about TARP money and everybody's going to get bailed out. We're approaching the same thing very soon. I've never seen a line like that. I've never seen a drop. This kind of drop, when you see this kind of severe crash, just in talking to you, the 100 points that it was up, it just dropped 200 points. We're again in the negative at 80. I don't have real-time charts, and I really don't care. I'm not going to pay for them. All right, so now at 9:54 New York time, we're already down 80 points, and down from 2,300 point drop yesterday, a 13% crash. So this is now endgame stuff. The markets are now closing below the running, the running trend line, the running support line from 2008. Now, technical analysts would say, Conte, fucking, what are you talking about, trend line from 2008? You made that shit up. And you're right, I did make it up. That's not really how a trend line works. Nobody tracks a trend line over 10 years. Right? I do, because there lies your evidence, and I'm right. The technical jerk-offs on Wall Street are wrong. I'm right. You know why? Because I'm the psychic investor. I wrote the book on this shit, right? I fucking been following this shit forever, man. I don't talk about it, but I know what I'm looking at. And when I see a whoop-de-doo like that, where it crashes through the ongoing trend line, heading right back to 2016 levels, where Trump enters the picture, and then it's gonna blow through that. Probably blow through that if it halves. We're talking about right here, this new trend line. I should probably draw a new line around about 15,000 on the Dow, which is about half. If we go below that, then we're talking about 1929, levels. Great Depression. Yeah, I mean, pain is coming. It's inevitable because people don't want to wake up. So, good morning in the chat. Good morning. Just put mine in the slow cooker. Hello, Sterling. Nice to see you again. It's always nice to see Sterling. All scare tactics. People are losing their minds. There are scare tactics, but the scare tactic, I would say, I would have to say that the scare tactic in this case is the coronavirus. Be scared. Don't worry about your money. That's just the result of the shenanigans on Wall Street. Don't pay attention to that. Oh, the elections are rigged. Don't worry about it. Who cares? We're all going to die anyway, right? So I think the big scare is really the coronavirus, the flu. Not underestimating it, not downplaying it, not minimizing it. It's real. You could get sick, and there's maybe a 2% chance that you'll die if you get sick, just like the flu. But it is not the cause of a debt bubble that has been building now for arguably 40 years, and almost crashed, would have went away. The problem would have been resolved in 2008, and we would have now been working towards a new economy under the leadership of someone like, Bernie Sanders, for example, where we're trying to eliminate the banking industry and the crooks, as he's always said, the crooks on Wall Street. But we're not going to get that. You're going to get Joe Biden, the senile capitalist, to come in and save the day. Oh boy! So we're down just again in talking. In this brief time that we're talking, we were up 80, and now we're down 164. So we're heading down again. Let me look at the 5-day. So there it goes. It opened up a little bit. It did a little whoop-de-doo. This is what 200 points looks like today. This little line way down on the bottom over here. And we're heading lower. We're heading lower, man. So get used to it. I mean, this is the new economy. This is the state of things. This is what happens when politicians are allowed to go on TV and lie and cheat and hold fake impeachment processes and bail out Wall Street, let corporations get zero tax. I mean, you see it right on the front page. That's what Trump plans to do. Big package focuses on tax cuts, not for you, not for me, not for the guy next door, but for the corporations that don't pay it anyway. They don't pay it anyway. Their rate is 21%, down from 34%, and they don't pay it anyway. And that's supposed to stimulate the fucking economy. How stupid. How goddamn stupid. And then they just start printing money. Where's this 800? No one's asking where you're going to get the money. Where are you going to get the money to bail out Wall Street? Oh, I don't know. They don't even talk about that. You think that look, New Deal. You want the New Deal, or we're going to stuff it down your throat, because that's what the country needs, right? That's where we're heading right now. Heading for crash, burn. You don't believe me? Okay. I don't care. I do care. So let's. This is good news, right? So Chelsea Manning, the hero, was held in prison for a year, almost a year, a little less than a year, whatever, about a year, for refusing to testify in front of a grand jury, which is technically illegal. If a grand jury is formed, you must show up without a lawyer and answer goddamn questions so that they can get the conviction that they're looking for in a rigged process. And Chelsea Manning refused to testify against Julian Assange. To her credit, wonderful thing that Chelsea Manning did. And she was released from jail, and they fined her $1,000 a day. $1,000 a day for contempt of court. So how is a lone citizen working in a restaurant or whatever she was doing a couple of talk shows, doing the talk circuit, making a couple of bucks to stay alive? How is she going to pay $256,000? Not going to happen, right? So it's extortion, right? So what happened was, in 2 short days, Chelsea Manning raised in a GoFundMe account. Look at the numbers. $266,000. Right? So that's a great thing. Whether you like the person or not for blowing the whistle and exposing massive corruption in the military, whether you like that or not, you got to love that people, came out. Right? And it's basically saying, you know what? Here, you fucking disgusting pigs, you money-grabbing, corrupt, tyrannic pigs, torturous pigs. Here's your fucking money. Right? Here's your $250,000. Get off my back. That's brilliant, really. So she's free, and I think that there'll probably be more coming in, and she'll do a talk show and some circuit talking about her experience. Continue to speak about it. I think this is a good thing for her. So she's, it's a good story. It's good news, man. So today is election day, if you haven't heard. Ohio, Illinois, Florida, and Arizona allegedly are voting. But at the last minute, Ohio closes the poll sites over coronavirus concerns just hours before the primary. This is rigging right here. Pay attention. This is a great way to rig, right? The primaries are shut down the primary. Is it legal? No. According to a judge, it's not legal. Ohio's top health official will order polling stations to close over coronavirus concerns, the governor said late Monday, hours before the state's presidential primary. Governor Manc announced that the 11th hour maneuver after a judge denied his request that in-person voting be delayed because people could be put at risk of catching and spreading the virus at the crowded polling places. Again, judge denied his request. Judge denied the governor's request. So it's now technically excuse me. Corona kicking in. Wow, that went down the wrong pipe. Damn, I went down the wrong pipe. Hold on a second. Listen to some more pain for a second. All right, I'm back. I had a my corona kicking in, man. My corona fucking kicking in. Sorry about that. I didn't want to cough in your face, man. So where was I? So judge denies DeWinn's request to close the polling places. During this time, this is DeWinn. During this time, we face an unprecedented public health crisis. To conduct an election tomorrow would force poll workers and voters to place themselves at unacceptable health risks of contacting corona. What about the fucking subway? What about the subway? You call the buses and everything else, right? Why close down? Why target a polling station where people can use hand wipes and They could, you could put up Perel stations. You come in there. There's no way fucking wear a mask. There's no way that's a reason to spread. It's just as good as any other goddamn. The Democrats could do whatever they want. They could spend $1 billion of taxpayer money to set up elections, and they don't count anyway because they're rigged. It's already confirmed that is the case. And 2000, what are the polls closed as a health emergency? So the governor is overriding the court's decision and shutting down Ohio, the good state of Ohio. Sorry, you wanted to vote? Too bad. Too bad. Don't worry about it. Joe Biden's the candidate anyway, right? We're not having any more rallies. All this election shit is bullshit anyway, so don't worry about it. You got your guy. You got your Joe Biden, man. Just enjoy. Secretary of State Frank LaRose would try to extend voting options through the courts, the Wind said. What does that mean? Early common plea courts Judge Richard Fry ruled against a motion by voters seeking to move in-person voting to June 2nd. So both Republicans backed the motion. So they don't even have a date set up for voting. They're not even saying, oh yeah, we'll get around to it. Nothing. Nada. Oh, look, the Dow is down 200 points already in just a few short minutes. How about that? So unexpected. So here's some more cheating. So if Ohio wasn't good enough, check this out. Now, you can't make this up. I've never seen anything like this, and I'll tell you the reason why I think it happened. In Illinois, a television station in Illinois broadcast the results from the Joe Biden-Bernie Sanders Democratic primary contest on Monday, the day before the actual election was scheduled to occur. What? They flashed results on TV on Monday for an election that was going to happen the next day. And, of course, Joe Biden is winning for 50 to 45. I'll show you the video. You can't make it up. So, Paris, Illinois resident Sherry Dougherty noted the discrepancy in a widely shared and commented upon Facebook post. I got the post. While watching Price is Right, our station accidentally runs tomorrow's election results, she said. It's Monday. Our election in Illinois is tomorrow. Now, here's the theory. Why would you do something like that? Obviously, the election didn't happen. Obviously, they're not going to use the same results. Excuse me. Obviously, they're not going to use the same results. Why they do it is this. This is my theory. When the masses that are watching, the mentality of the person watching The Price is Right, for example, sitting around on a Sunday or fucking whenever, watching The Price is Monday, watching The Price is Right. It's probably old people and, whatever. Who the fuck knows who it is? Watching The Price is Right on TV, and all of a sudden they flash these election results. Now, most people wouldn't catch it. What the average person, the average gaslit person not paying attention would say to themselves is, oh, I was going to vote. They already voted. Oh, I guess I missed it. And they go back to watching their program. Oh, I already missed the election. Look, it already happened. And they go back, and they don't go, the next day they don't go and vote. Why? Because they were told that they make other plans. And then when tomorrow rolls around, they realize, didn't I see the results yesterday? And they don't put it together. They don't question it. So it is a form of voter suppression, in my view. Was it an accident? Of course not. How is it accidental that someone sits around and drafts up phony results? It's just not possible. So here's the video. Watch the video. So
today's date is Monday. The day before
well, look at this. So the day before, look, they got Bernie Sanders down, Biden beating Bernie by 50 to 45. Now, is this real? Can this be confirmed? I haven't confirmed it more than the fact that it's being widely shared, but it does look authentic in my view. WCIA Channel 3, that's a CBS channel in Illinois.
Illinois election. And yet, Channel 3 in Illinois accidentally put this on during
Trump wins.
Price is Right. What's your conspiracy theory?
I just gave you my conspiracy theory. It has nothing to do with posting actual results. It has to. It's a signal to the sleepy masses that say the election already happened. You missed
March
it. Don't
16th.
don't bother showing up. And then they'll say, "Oh, that was an error. We made a mistake." How do you make a mistake? How do you have your people sit around drafting up fake election results and loading those into the prompters? It doesn't happen. I have to consciously, if I'm going to make artwork like that, I have to consciously sit down and do it. Come on. Oh, maybe that was just mock. That was just a mock put together for tomorrow's election. That's what they'll say in the final analysis. But the point is that the damage is done. That when people see that, if half of the people that are not paying attention, the sleepy half people get irate. People will be yelling and screaming, "What the fuck is that?" And they don't care. It doesn't matter. Their target is the other half that says, "Oh, I missed the election," and they stay home. And then you get low voter turnout. And who wins in low voter turnout? Joe Biden wins. They'll say, "Oh, see, nobody showed up. Nobody's enthusiastic about this," and they'll steal the votes from any votes that Sanders gets, and they'll flip them to Biden. So there's the evidence. If you want to see it again, let's watch it from the top again. I mean, this is the evidence. All right? Someone sitting there on a Monday, and they're flashing election results that haven't happened yet for Tuesday.
Today's date is Monday.
There it is.
The
The
day
winner.
before the
Not a winner.
Illinois election. And yet, Channel 3 in Illinois
With 100% in.
accidentally put this on during Price is Right.
So there you go, man. There you go. Here, it's on Twitter, too.
It's Monday.
Where's the Price is Right? I guess you hear it.
It's on.
I don't hear the Price is Right, but anyway, so there it is. It's kind of confirmed. Make what you will of it. I don't know. Hey, listen, man. Is there rigged elections? Of course there are. So we have more evidence. More evidence. Mark Conte reporting. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sweet Lou. Good morning, Jerry Fleming, and Recon Phi. Loyal opposition. Vinny DiMartini, it's the installation. You're damn right it is. Alturist. Thank you very much for coming back to me. I take you back, Al. I'm taking you back after you insulted me left, right, and center. You crucified your Conti. And now I'm right. I'm right again. I told you, man. I told you the whole thing. Right? The whole shit. Calling this whole shit, right? From the market crash to the fake elections. It's all rigged, right? So we turned around again. But this is going to keep going. It's going to bounce like a ball. It's still bullshit right here. The markets. So we've been tracking the exit poll in irregularities. In New Hampshire, the exit polls favor the establishment candidate, Joe Biden. In South Carolina, same thing. Massachusetts, same thing. Texas, same thing. Vermont, exit polls off by 12%. Unprecedented. In California, they're still withholding 25% of the votes. I didn't know that until yesterday. 25% of the votes they're still holding out on, and the exit polls are off, right? So here's more evidence. Remember in Michigan? Right? So Michigan, we have the results from a ladder election, and Michigan's are off as well. And here's the evidence, right? So Joe Biden's, the exit poll said 52% for Joe Biden and Sanders 43%. Now the final reported vote in the unseen, machines, every single poll, exit poll, very accurate, used worldwide to find fake elections. Election monitors go in and use exit polls. They can be reasonably sure when someone walks out who they voted for based on a series of questions, there's only a 2% degree of discrepancy. In some cases, it's 100%. Like in the Republican side of the thing was 100%. So you can't say it's not just some stupid poll where they scream out across the room, "Hey, who'd you vote for?" No, it's very mathematical and very scientific. They know who you voted for. When if you step into that, do people lie? Of course they do. 1 in 100 lie because they think it's funny. So very accurate. Again, here's the evidence for Michigan that the election was stolen. Not so much the win was stolen from Bernie Sanders, but the delegate count, the numbers. It's a numbers race. They keep flashing, well, Joe Biden has an insurmountable lead. Joe Biden has an insurmountable lead, right? Doesn't he? That's what they told us. Where's my insurmountable lead page? Oh, here it is. So Joe Biden, what is the score? So you see how the math works out. Here's Joe Biden, 880 delegates, Bernie Sanders, 729. But if you consider all the times that they've shaven points, it's probably even, or Sanders is probably winning when you consider California, right? If you had a fair election, right? This is just one way of doing it, right? The other, of course, the other forms of rigging are taking all of the other candidates and having them drop out 2 days before Super Tuesday and endorse the shit sandwich Joe Biden and throw Bernie Sanders under the bus. Of course, that's another way of doing it. Voter disenfranchisement, it's just, all right, so it is rigged. We know that. Here's more evidence to pile on top of California is they just canceled Ohio. Illinois, they're putting out results before the election even happened to disenfranchise those people. Who the hell knows what's going on in Florida? They'll say, oh, Bernie Sanders supported Cuba, so the Floridians voted against him. That's why he lost. They'll say that shit. Arizona is notorious for voter disenfranchisement, and Hillary Clinton won Arizona. So, more evidence of cheating. More evidence of cheating. So, are we buffering? Are we buffering? Did we buffer? Are we buffering? Are we buffering? Are we buffering? Are we back? I saw the little pinwheel going around. Are we back? Give me a yes if we're back. Just yes if we're back. My suggestion is we make voting a national holiday. Yeah, I agree. So we're buffering quite a bit. That's sad. I didn't know that. I wish I would have known that. Anyway, so I don't know. Okay, so what's up, Carol Hayes? Thank you. Good to go. All right, so we'll continue. Always say, if you see it buffering, just put in the comments buffering, because I can't see that page. I don't know if it's happening or not. It's just the way it is. I don't know if it's happening. So there's your evidence of the exit polls rigged in Michigan. We have evidence of rigging in Illinois now, flashing bullshit out in front of people so that they don't go and vote. We have evidence of clear, just disenfranchisement, canceling the election in Ohio based on overruling a judge's ruling that it was unfair. How much does this all cost us? Look at these numbers. Right. The cost of elections. Right. Look at this. In the cost in billions. In 2016. Here we go. In 2016, the total cost of the election was $6.5 billion. In a rigged election, the government taxpayers spend $6.5 billion to hold an election that is fake. Now, doesn't that, at least in portion, is fake? Because you didn't get the people's choice. The people are in a general election arguing over someone that they didn't select in a natural way, that wasn't elected in. In the case of 2016, Bernie Sanders was elected in, won the primaries, and it was stolen from him. All right. So So the whole premise, you can't make the argument that, oh, the general elections are not rigged. Well, they possibly are. But the candidates that are getting thrown into the ring are clearly rigged, and we are paying for it. Now, how does that get? How does the government? How do people tolerate that? How do they? You know what I mean? Buffering. Fuck. We're buffering again. Are we back? See, this is YouTube disenfranchisement. Disenfranchisement. Buffer the shit out of this guy. He's talking about rigged elections. He's talking about rigged elections. Kill his viewership. Every time you say it, I know. Every time you say buffer, every time you say rigged election, it buffers. I hear you, man. We're just gonna keep going though, man, because this is all we got, really, man. You guys better be rooting for me, because once this is gone, man, we're fucking gone. We're out, man. We are out. So there's the money spent on fake elections. Read it and weep. In 2002, $230 billion, and a steady climb up. 2006, those are the midterm elections, but these are the big elections. 2008, $5.2 billion spent. In 2016, $6.5 billion spent on an election. We need elections, right? We need that. But are the elections rigged? Let's talk about that. So let's go back. Let's roll lane. Is this all theory? Is this all new? Is this all, coming from out of nowhere? Oh shit! For the first time. Well, here's 2017. If you recall, DNC lawyers argued the DNC has a right to pick the candidates. And this is Jared and his wife Elizabeth Beck. I had Jared on the show. I interviewed him for, he was on it. We talked about his fundamental belief that Bernie Sanders is complicit in this shenanigan and refuses. I tend to differ a little bit with that, but I hear him out. But Jared Beck the DNC fraud lawsuit team was able to prove in open court that the elections are rigged. Now, I just told you we spent $6.5 billion on an election, and it's fake. The whole thing is a farce. They picked the candidate. The illusion, the manufacturing the consent that you voted and your guy lost. That's manufacturing consent. That's endgame. It's endgame stuff. It's when there's nothing left. I'm gonna play you a video of Max Kaiser. Max Kaiser, who I can't even speak if the thing is going to keep buffering like this. We're still going. Let's keep it going, man. Let's just keep the faith. But thank you for the heads up on the buffer. Yeah, D Live. I know. We can move away and we can run. Yeah, Jared's book is good. The what really happened to Bernie. But here you go. Let's just look briefly. Attorneys claim the word impartial and even-handed, as used in the DNC charter, can't be interpreted by a court of law. So the DNC on April 28th, the transcript was released from the most recent hearings at a federal court in Fort Lauderdale on the lawsuit filed on behalf of Bernie Sanders supporters against the Democratic National Committee, the former DNC chair, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, for rigging the Democratic primaries for Hillary Clinton. Throughout the hearing, lawyers representing the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz doubled down on the arguments, confirming that the disdain the DNC, the Democratic establishment, has towards Bernie Sanders supporters and any entity challenging the party's status quo. So shortly after the hearing, I'll just get to the punchlines, right? So, Jared, the people paid money in reliance. This is Jared Beck. People paid money in reliance on the understanding that the primary elections for the Democratic nominating process in 2016 were fair and impartial, Beck said. And that's not just a bedrock assumption that we would assume just by virtue of the fact that we live in a democracy, and we assume that our elections are run in a fair and in an impartial manner. But that's what the Democratic National Committee's own charter said It says it in black and white, and they can't deny that, he added. Not only is it in the charter, but it was stated over and over again in the media by the Democratic National Committee's employees, including Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, that they were, in fact, acting in compliance with the charter. And they said it again and again, and we've cited several instances of that case. And here's the actual quote. But here, where you have a party, this is the lawyers for the DNC, where you have a party that says, we're going to, choose our standard bearer, and we're going to follow these general rules of the road, which we are voluntarily deciding. We could have voluntarily decided that, look, we're going to go into the back rooms like they used to and smoke cigars and pick the candidate that way. That's not the way it was done. But they could have. That's unbelievable. That statement right there should be. I don't see how the Supreme Court could rule in favor of the DNC. You are holding free and fair elections. Your fucking talking head, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, is on TV ensuring the voters that it's a free and fair election. So there's your evidence. I know it's old, but the numbers that we spend, how much money do we have to spend? How much money, if they spent $5.5 billion in 2008 and $6.5 billion in 2016, it's going to be close to $8 billion of taxpayer money pumped into all of this bullshit, putting up machines and everybody feels like they're voting and all the hype surrounding it, and it's all fucking bullshit. Wow, what a country! What a phenomenon, right? So why do we believe that why do we believe that the market is real? Why would we put our faith? The market is the same as the elections. Is the same as the Ponzi scheme of an economy we live in. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyway. The naked cowboy is in ICU. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here, ZOX. The naked cowboy is in ICU? Are you bullshitting me? Are you tugging my chain? Are you tugging my chain? Don't make me look it up, man. Don't make me look that shit up. Naked cowboy. Naked cowboy. Naked cowboy news. Why is Bloomberg talking about the naked cowboy? A brief history. Oh, you're full of shit, man. You got me, man. You got me, man. The naked cowboy ain't in fucking ICU. Tugging my chain in the chat. How we doing? We're still good? All right. No. So I want to play this clip. This is someone who I respect, the Kaiser, Max Kaiser, on the Kaiser Report, and he's been calling it. I've been saying it as long as he's been saying it. He's been saying it a little louder than I have, but certainly he sums it up because he has a very, very deep understanding of the workings of the market. So let's listen to these two very fine people talk it out. Check this out.
The Kaiser Report. Well, things are turbulent, and we got a lot to cover. So, Stacy, what's happening?
Yes, Max, we've been talking about this, preparing you for years for this, so this financial pandemic is not too much of a shock. We are seeing very 1929 or 1987 sort of like plunges in the stock market, and of course those rallies that followed 1929. In fact, here is a headline from Dow Jones Market Watch. This plunge looks a lot like the ones that rocked stocks in 1929, 1987, and 2008. If it keeps tracking, look out.
Well, this is interesting that they're...
So there you go, man. They're calling it. These two folks, very, very respected in the game. They're on the Kaiser Report, RT. Look out.
They're making the 1929 comparison because it reminds me back in 2008. A speech made by Ben Bernanke, who was then running the Federal Reserve. He was the successor to Alan Greenspan. And he was doing this great lecture about how they cured the crisis of 2008 because they have something that they didn't have back in 1929. They have the printing press. And this began a continuation of what Alan Greenspan did in the 1987 crash, was to print their way out of all problems. And the idea was that, oh, we can stop printing at any time. And this has all been proven to be false. You can't taper a Ponzi scheme. Furthermore, they claim to be fighting deflation by all.
You can't print your way out of a Ponzi scheme. Is that what he just said? Listen to that again.
At any time. And this has all been proven to be false. You can't taper a Ponzi scheme. Furthermore,
you can't taper a Ponzi scheme. You can't print your way out of a Ponzi scheme. Meaning that that it comes back to the initial argument right here, that this $850 billion economic stimulus that Trump is going to come out in front of the cameras and wave his finger with his Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin from Goldman Sachs standing right next to him, waving his finger saying, we've got a big problem. This is 2008 all over, except exchange George Bush Jr. for Trump. Do you get it? You see what happened? They're doing the same thing again. It's coming. They're going to do a stimulus package. And I'm telling you, this is, I don't know how many times I could say it over and over again, but it is a Ponzi scheme.
They claim to be fighting deflation by all this printing, and yet what they created was deflation. And deflation in the sense that what we're seeing now, markets are collapsing and the dollar is rallying. That's a hallmark of deflation. Why is it? Why did this happen? Because of money printing. Because the money printing gave a lot of cash to the worst actors in the economy, the zombie banks, pushed out all productive economy, and we end up now with an official post-mortem to what started in 2008. 2008 was the global financial crisis. This is part two, and this is the death.
You and I were reporting.
This is the death. This is death. All right, this is the end game. That's what I say. And Max Kaiser seems to confirm that this is it. They've run out of. You got to remember, keep it in context. You've got the President of the United States waving his finger at the camera saying, the market is unbelievable, is fantastic, is on fire. And in 6 short weeks, it deflates to nothing. That it's a full-blown implosion. The evidence is in the numbers. There it is. There's the chart. There's the evidence of the implosion. And shit doesn't come straight down, right? It's going to bounce around for a few days. It's going to keep coming down. So let's continue.
2007, 2008, 2009, through the entirety of the financial crash, we started at something like 5.5% interest rates at the Fed. So they were able to cut rapidly once Bear Stearns collapsed in March of 2008. Remember, they did a 75 basis point emergency cut on the Sunday night. Also, central banks were coordinating and working together. We were not yet in a process of rapid deglobalization. This time we are in a process of deglobalization. So though gold is very volatile, I think you're going to see more central banks start to try to accumulate whatever is available for this post-crash. Whatever is going to happen, it's going to look very different. So nobody could genuinely predict what might happen. But I think structurally our economies will have to change. In some ways it'll be better because jobs will have to be brought back to the U.S. because of this deglobalization.
Jobs will have to be brought back to the U.S. because of this deglobalization. Right? That's why you want the thing to crash. You keep saying why. People keep asking me, why do you keep saying that the market's crashing are a good thing? Because you cripple the oligarchs that are causing the problem, where all new wealth funnels out of the country into the hands of a few. Cripple them. Then how do you do it? It's their markets, their stock market. Don't bail them out. Let them fall. They have the money. You don't think that? Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. If what's his face, Trump wants to give $850 billion in the economy, why not take back Jeff Bezos' $120 billion and the Saudis' $100 billion and all the billionaires that have accumulated all this money and all these the trillions of dollars sitting in offshore accounts? Let them take their own fucking money and bail themselves out. Isn't it common sense? You're going deeper into debt. Why? Because it doesn't matter. It's just a Ponzi scheme. Just keep give. Don't. You can't go against the banks. They're the ones who got me elected. For Christ's sake, they fucking without the banks. How am I going to get elected? Who's going to pay for all this shit? So you know what I'm saying. So sad. So let's listen more. I'm sorry for interjecting.
And because of the exposure that we were exposed as being very fragile, that our economy was held hostage by the fact that we weren't able to manufacture personal protection equipment, example for the healthcare workers.
Well, the 3Ds, right? Put on your 3D goggles. The 3Ds are deglobalization, de-dollarization, depopulation. And we've been talking about this now for a couple of years. And the idea that the central banks around the world are going to start buying more gold, I think they would love to buy more gold now, but there's very little liquidity out there. It's going to be difficult to buy gold.
So what he's predicting is he's predicting a collapse of the dollar as the global currency and going back to a gold standard. Just for it's pretty heavy. I mean, that's a heavy prediction.
The question is, now that the music has stopped, who's got the gold? And for the last 5-10 years, we know two big players have been.
I'm not so sure it's going to be gold. I would disagree with that. I think it's more going to be any resource. I mean, gold is a good trading for the billionaire class and maybe a basis of a currency. But I think we're going to go back to more of Indian trading, where actual commodities, actual goods and services begin to have value, and that is the stimulation of the way to stimulate a real economy. I've always said it, that you got this is good. When the markets crash like this and everything goes to hell, I know you kiss your 401k plan goodbye, but the people that are causing the fake elections, holding the whole shit in place with the fake media, they're out of business. Isn't it a wonderful thing? Why would you not want to see that part of our economy crumble? Why would you not want to see that? We have media. We have people like me that just fill the vacuum. You want the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I'll continue to tell you the truth. Why do we need all of this fake media blocking us from the truth, from the reason why all this shit is crumbling is because of the oligarchs and a Ponzi scheme stock market.
Accumulating hundreds and hundreds of tons of gold, and that would be China and Russia. And when you add the gold held by some European countries and the IMF, they've got equal gold to what the U.S. has. So now we've got gold parity, and we've got the ability now to rework the world currency order, a new Bretton Woods. They're going to go back to gold, as they always do. I don't think the U.S. has a particularly strong hand this time, but we'll see.
Again, looking at 1929, the S&P 500 1929 analog update, it is tracking. It looks a lot like 1929. And of course, after 1929, we had years and years of just tedious sidewaysness and long depression. I do want to point out that you and I have also been talking about that intergenerational warfare, the boomers versus the millennials and Generation Z. This could see, for example, a lot of boomers have to stay in the workforce for the next 10, 15 years beyond what they were expecting if their 401ks are wiped out just as they're getting ready to retire, because the youngest of the boomers are only 59, 60 at the moment. So, they still have 5 years before they can collect Medicare. And if this crash mirrors what we saw in 2008, then we're going to see a 40%, 45% decline. If it's mirroring 1929, then we're going to see a 80% decline. How long it stays there, however.
So 2000, I lowered my audio. Someone's saying that my audio is too loud. I won't scream into the mic because I can't hear myself. What her prediction is that 40%, we saw a 40% decline in 2008, and then but in 1929 we saw an 80% decline in market value, in share value. So right now we're at 35%. We're almost at 2008 already in 6 weeks. That came on really, really fast. And that's devastating. You got to understand what leverage is all about. You say, well, the markets were never that high anyway, so it could absorb going down to 20 or 15,000 to 20,000. Shit, it was 7,000 in 2008 and 14,000 2008, and the economy was fine. But you have to understand the principle of Ponzi scheme and leverage. Organizations, companies leverage themselves 30 to 1, 40 to 1. They create debt that is unsustainable so that when the market retracts, even say, for example, if the market retracts 100 points, to them it's 1,000-point hit. It's sometimes 40 to 1. It's 40 times the hit on the way down. Right? So leverage. That's why people start jumping out of windows and shit.
Is one thing. Of course, we've never had such an activist central bank, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think you're going to see very extraordinary fiscal responses this time.
So to put this in perspective, right, you had the 1929 crash, which was followed by the Depression. In the 70s, you had a massive recession in the 1970s due to the oil shock. The oil price at that time screamed higher and caused a major recession. Then in 2008, we had the subprime crisis, and that was considered to be the greatest crisis since the Depression. And that's how they build this $750 billion TARP bailout, which became closer to $17 trillion when it was all said and done. Now in 2020, we have what would be historically considered...
Did you hear what he just said? That the original TARP money was $750 billion, and it turned out to be $17 trillion. That Wall Street has extracted $17 trillion adding to the debt. 17, 18, 20 times what they had asked for is what they got. And you wonder why these politicians are silent on this. You wonder why they're silent, because that's how does Nancy Pelosi end up with $100 million in the bank? This is how it happens. They take the fucking money, right?
One financial crisis of the past 150 years. And where does it fall into the category? How do you classify it? I think we're going to depression. And to your point, how quickly do we get out of it? The activist Fed, the problem there is that their prescription thus have caused the problem. So they're actually the problem. The central banks need to be removed from the equation because...
Okay, so we see we're buffering, right? Are we buffering? We buffering? We buffering? Buffering? Are we buffering? YouTube is not receiving enough info. YouTube is not receiving enough info. Are we buffering? Buffering? Okay, just bear with it. Bear with it. Bear with it. Bear with it. We played too long. I think I played the video too long. I'm going for you. I'm gonna sing for you. Ah, la, 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 la. I'm getting a message. Error. YouTube is not receiving enough video. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. All right. How are we doing? Are we back? Oh, good. Okay, we're good. All right. My bad. My bad. I have no control over that. I think what happened was, in that case, I think YouTube starts to pick up on the fact that you're playing someone else's shit. So I think we overextended ourselves on that one with RT. So that's the Kaiser report. Let's have one little look at the market before we go. So the market's going to bounce around. There's no sign of recovery. This is the official. It keeps closing below the trend line here en route to 1800. That would be roughly 40% decline. We'd be right back to 2008 depreciation, maybe a little more. I think it was more like 50%. So right about here, we're back at 2008. But what a decline. What a steep, and coronavirus, I know, is killing everybody. What the hell, man? So, everybody's dying. So anyway, Mark Conte reporting on this stuff. So today's election day. Enjoy yourself. Go out and vote in Illinois. Come back later on, maybe. I don't know. Possibly. Who cares, really? Because it's fucking rigged anyway. Come back and talk about Illinois, Florida, and Arizona are voting today. We'll see the fake media get all excited around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Maybe. Stand by. Maybe we'll pop in for an hour, have a laugh. Who knows, man? Make it like a party. Election fraud party. You could have that, right? We'll have an election fraud gathering at 10 p.m. tonight, maybe. So stay tuned for that. And have a good day, man. Don't let it get you down, man. I know if you come to this channel, it's a downer, but I'm trying to give you the truth. I'm trying to give you a truth based on daily analysis, what I look at on a daily basis. The markets, the false elections, the propaganda in our media, the rigging. Who's causing it? Embrace the market crash. Embrace it. If you're Trump people, don't let them do the bailout. Then you're falling right into that Bush shit, the Obama shit. Every politician in the world is going to come out rattling their fingers saying, bail them out, give them a bailout. It's not their fault. It's coronavirus. Blame coronavirus for what has been brewing for years. Do you see the bait and switch? Not to say that coronavirus isn't a bad thing, but do you see how the big move, coronavirus, is covering the little move? I guess the little move that the markets are crashing. It's all connected, man. It's all connected. I'm rambling now, so let's get the hell out of here before it's too late, man. So Marcus Conte reporting. Listen to some war paint. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. We're going to pop out now. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, for the moderation. Thank you, Sterling Price. Altruist, thank you for stopping by. Jim Garrard, Dean S., Sweet Lou, JJ Wolf. We got a good chat going here. We got some people, some thinkers. ZOX, Carol Hayes. Thank you all. Thank you, Carol Hayes, for your ongoing support and your lovely letter. I got that letter. I love it. MB Boyak. Dean S. You guys are rocking. You guys are rock stars. If you got timed out today, that's your fault. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Peace out.